Girl, you won't believe what Diddy is up to. He is sitting in that Brooklyn MDC jail waiting for October when they decide his punishment, and first his lawyers tried to play smart by offering $1 million for bail, but the judge just shut it down like it was nothing. And now he is going even bigger with this over-the-top $50 million bail package, hoping that maybe this time he can walk out free.
Now to the Sean Diddy Combs case. We may learn this week if he will be released on bond while he awaits sentencing. His lawyers filed a request asking the judge to release Combs on $50 million.
Diddy is saying he should not be locked up because his charges were not violent, and they were under that Mann Act about moving people across states for shady stuff. And even though the rules call it violent, there was no real harm. But if he gets out, it could be bad news for the people who spoke against him, and that is probably why the judges don't want to let him go.
The judge said next time. So he probably let Diddy get away with it to see how far he was going to do it. But then he said, nah, we're not having this. Because you got to realize the jury is not sequestered. They go home every day. And he's known for tampering with witnesses. If you go through the trial right today, you see how he was trying to tamper with some of the people by having security, D-Rock, and other people talk to them. They are saying that in their testimony. So the judge is very aware of the fact by hearing the testimony of some of the witnesses that he was trying to tamper with the...
And to end it all, the jury actually did not find Diddy guilty of any violent assault, even though prosecutors talked about him being rough with Cassie and another woman called Jane, and even that 2016 hotel video could not be used because the case was never filed in California and the time limit was gone. So now his lawyers are pushing the idea that he should not stay locked up for things he was not convicted of, but prosecutors keep saying the past incidents and witness stories show he could still be a threat if he gets out, and the judge is clearly not taking any chances, while Jaguar Wright keeps warning that Diddy has been busy running heavy damage control from the very start.
Diddy does have a plan to try to derail the information, derail the chain of evidence, derail history as it actually happened. And he is the kind of guy that has no problem with re-victimizing people all over again. Let's just keep it a buck. These girls showed up at a very opportune time, did they not? Adria and Lamisha Fuller. Very opportune time. I do Pierce Morgan. The elites go insane. Ariel Mitchell Kidd drops Adria English as a client after she got drunk and talked with Tasha K, which was bad in itself if you ask me. I go on Pierce Morgan and say, I have 3 witnesses that are ready to come forward against the Carters. I didn't say against Diddy, I said against the Carters. And then there was the fake C&D, which was nothing more than a phone call from the lawyer Alex Spiro, who tanked the Rock Nation offering so Dame Dash couldn't make any real money.
Jaguar was spilling that this whole Diddy mess is way bigger than people think, and with others like Albu calling him out, it is not just his name taking a hit, but also his money because the losses are stacking up fast.
Oh, Diddy!
I'll be sure is somebody that at the time when you were doing your run back in 2024, you were waiting to hear from him. You knew he was going to say something. He finally waited to do the Diddy documentary to finally speak. And I think TMZ put out, or I forgot who put it out, but there was a documentary kind of put out on the downfall of Diddy. And I'll be sure was part of that, speaking his story. For you to see him, you know, because again, he was very calculated on who he spoke with, whether it's real life or whoever it was. He was calculated as far as who he was going to speak with, but he ended up finally speaking and then going on the documentary. What credit do you give him for coming out and at least starting the conversation?
What do you mean? What credit?
Yes.
All credit.
There you go.
One of the best moments for me was seeing that documentary and watching how the footage that they took from this blue couch lined up perfectly with everything he had to say. Why did that not hit?
I don't
hit different.
Right.
I'm just
and you said it on your platform too, like, why aren't, as we're closing in on this trial, why isn't there more?
How didn't that hit different?
Right.
Because as much as I love, I'll be sure, much as I love Mr. Albert Brown Sr., father, grandfather, amazing artist, incredible writer, wonderful entrepreneur, and radio personality. It's so funny when I talk about all of the things that my friend, I'll be sure, is. It's funny, everyone forgets that he did all of these things. Like, it's sad that not until that documentary, people weren't even acknowledging that he was an original investor, owner in Uptown Records that got demolished. So bad boy. But for me to be able to say the same things that he was saying, and we haven't even been in each other's presence, how did that hit different?
There you go.
It's like they just don't want to accept the truth. Angie passes away.
Yeah, that right there.
Al said something. I said something. We were attacked immediately.
Right.
Why? You want to know what else I find funny? We got attacked for speaking about the truth. But all of those other entertainers, ain't none of them say nothing. Especially the females who were mentored and influenced by Angie Stone, no different than me. Not as much. I was truly influenced by Betty Wright, but then again, Angie Stone was influenced by her, so I guess it's all the same thing.
For Diddy to get bail, he needs to show he won't try to escape and he won't break the law again. And his lawyers are pushing hard, saying he will hand over his passport, wear an ankle monitor, and no way would he throw away $50 million. But the tricky part is, the judge is not convinced because Diddy has a history of this kind of behavior, and to make things worse, Jaguar Wright had already been exposing him for these actions years back.
Diddy is a shepherd for the devil. Everybody told me he was a shepherd for the devil. And I've seen it for myself. Y'all want to know how divisive Sean Combs, Honey Combs is? Go talk to Father MC and ask him how he feels about the love of his life being stopped to death. And all Puff wanted to do was keep it quiet so nobody knew that he was responsible because he didn't have the appropriate motherfucking goddamn permits to do half of the shows he was doing at Howard. Sean Combs, your agenda to destroy talent in the music industry, as successful as it's been, it needs to end. The way you embarrass those people or making the band, yeah, it might have made good TV. It was good TV because you were sitting there humiliating people for having talent. Why you hate talent so much, Puff? Trying to contend with someone filled with power who know they doesn't need you is much harder than contending with someone that has no talent, that can't survive without you. The only thing that proves is that you're a narcissist. You have beautiful children. You should spend more time looking at them instead of looking up little young girls' skirts. That thing that girl said about you, the side bitch, while you was with Cassie, who was the side bitch, while you was with Kim, your relationships overlap so much, Puff. You like a monkey, for real. You like a monkey. And you know how monkeys travel through the jungle, right? They go from vine to vine. But when monkeys travel from vine to vine, they don't swing on the rope and jump off and catch the next rope. No, they don't let go of one branch until they got a firm grasp on the other. And that's your whole relationship story. You're disrespectful to women. For real, you're probably the Jeffrey Epstein of hip hop. And Puff, if your ass is itching about it, you can say something to me too. because I know what really happened with you, Shine, and Jennifer Lopez. I know what really happened, yo. That boy that you tried to clone and turn into Biggie Smalls. Shout out to the memory of Biggie, yo. If you don't want me talking puff, keep your distance. Because I'm not big and I'm not Tupac. My head is always on a swivel. And what's really sad is, of all of the things that I've been sharing with y'all over the past 6 weeks, I ain't told you.
The judge reminded everyone that Diddy's own lawyers admitted if the case was only about domestic violence, that 2016 video might have been enough to get him convicted, and that statement is now making his bail chances look even worse. And while some celebs may be nervous about the blackmail he has, the real spotlight is on how badly this one slip is working against him.
When they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. Like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit, his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes. You know what I'm saying? If it has anything, see, what people don't understand is this, is that having sex is not a crime, but having sex with underage.
People are now asking if Diddy should even bother chasing bail, since if his sentence is only 1 or 2 years, the time he already spent inside will cover most of it, and getting out now just to return soon feels pointless. And the bigger question people keep raising is, if he was not rich and famous, he would never even be given this chance, while regular folks in the same spot don't get that option, and those who spoke against him are praying. The court listens to them instead of his money. And what's really striking is that after years of digging and more than 30 witnesses, the jury still threw out the biggest charges, showing just how complicated and messy this whole case has become.
This case had nothing to do with really putting Puff in jail, because those people are educated enough to know they could have won that case by other charges, and they didn't even go for it. They didn't even go for it. That gun charge was locked, sealed, and they didn't even go for it. Why? It was about them going in there, getting those tapes. I think the prosecutor name was Damian Williams. He would sit there and put that because somebody told him in high places. Puff might be the Black Jeff Epstein. he got all the tapes of some people that are friends of ours. They found out that he had those tapes of them. Y'all go get them. Why is the southern state of New York going all the way over in California and down in Miami when they have their own divisions? Why? People ain't thinking about that. They went down there because some people told them, yo, y'all go down there and y'all go get these tapes from this dude. Because we know he got them. And he got them stored in one of these houses. They go in there, they do a raid. Bro. They brought out they said close to 900 some bottles of baby oil. I know this for a fact. When you do a raid, you do what they call a field test on any substance you bring out that house. You do a field test on any substance that you bring out that house. They not bringing 900 bottles of baby oil out that if it was just baby oil.
Prosecutors just filed new papers shutting down Diddy's latest move to walk away from his conviction, saying his request for an acquittal or a brand new trial has no legal standing, and this filing came almost 3 weeks after the verdict, making it clear that no matter what he tries, the case is not turning in his favor.
Jesse and Daphne both was victims, but the jury and probably was looking for more women that was victimized in the thing. And then if they would have brought in more women, and there was more women out there. I talked to a couple of women myself, and I was like, even the women who did the civil suits, the prosecution didn't want to bring them in because they were doing civil suits. And they knew that the defense would get on them and try to make it a shamble about, oh, it's about money. But still in all, when he go to jail, watch how many women and how many people come forward on their civil claims. You're gonna have a lot of men come forward too. Watch and see. Our people got a strange way, and they pick and choose who they should be loyal to. And it's strange, bruh. How they celebrating this demon, bruh. They celebrating this demon. Do you understand that? The RICO law, you understand? The racketeering, criminal enterprise, and corruption, all this other bullshit like that. It was hard for the jury to take that in, because when they hear about RICO law, they hear about racketeering, they think about the mafia. They think about the mafia. So they couldn't come to grips with that. And that's okay. But I know this for a fact. He ain't getting no time served. He ain't getting no less than 5 years. He's gonna get the mandatory minimum, or he gonna get more. He's gonna get the mandatory minimum, or he's gonna get more. Point blank. So all you people that's celebrating and wanna know how Gene Deal feel,
Prosecutors leaned on that 2016 video of Diddy with Cassie in a hotel hallway, and her testimony about him snapping when she tried to leave a freak off to show his behavior was about control and aggression, not just parties. And even though he beat the trafficking charges, the Mann Act convictions still stick, and prosecutors say they carry real weight and deserve punishment. And instead of wondering about the exact number of years, people are now watching closely to see if the judge decides to make an example out of him.
But if this the plan that God got him for him right now, it's God's plan. And what y'all don't understand, y'all celebrate thinking that it can't happen in jail. They might put him in a couple of places before he make it over there to Madoc, R. Kelly, rest of the criminals that's have easygoing spots and stuff like that. But it still can happen there. Somebody get mad. Somebody got a relative or something like that he did something to that we don't know about. And they run into him. And they hit him with his own words. Take that, take that. Then what y'all gonna say? I ain't worrying about it, Mighty. This is funny to me, man. This is real funny that the prosecution spent all that money, all that time, and all that resources when they had legitimate charges that they could have put on him other than the RICO, other than the racketeering. That gun charge is mandatory. So now, you got to realize this. A lot of people going to bring up cases to the federal government. This becomes case law now.
Right now, Diddy is sitting in jail while his lawyers argue he should not spend a single day locked up, and prosecutors are pushing for him to get years instead. And the non-stop back and forth shows how deep both sides are digging. But the final call is in the hands of the judge when sentencing comes this fall, and the juicy part is people are wondering if bigger names will get pulled into this because Gene Deal is pretty sure they will.
So I want to go back to the comments you made earlier about these tapes, and I want you to give more clarity. So you believe they only got Puffy because they wanted these tapes. But what do you think is on these tapes?
Bro, you got to realize you got people like Prince Harry. Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for, I'm just gonna say it like this, man, whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that. They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now, I ain't talking about the freak-off party part of it, but I'm just saying, he was doing those parties, and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody wanted to be at. So Diddy have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody. You remember in his trial it came up. In his trial it came up. What came up in his trial? It came up that his assistant was right there. And Diddy told him, "You want to show your lord to me?" Gave him a condom and told him to sex the girl right there. He asked the girl, was she all right there? She said, yeah. That's crazy, bruh. So now, you think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actress, they drinking, smoking, we know they love pink coke. You know they got weed all in the air. They dropping pills, they dropping what's some other kind of pill. Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape?
Do you agree with Gene on this one? Could it really be that the feds are ready to let Diddy walk just to catch even bigger fish? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this whole theory has people talking non-stop. If you are loving all this tea and want more updates like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button to Jacob Reports and stay tuned because the drama is only getting crazier and you do not want to miss what comes next.